Hey, what's going on, y'all? Toby coming at you. This is tomorrow marks 4 weeks post-operation. Surgery was on 2 February and tomorrow is 2 March. So this is when you'll be seeing this. It'll be post, like I said, 4 weeks post-operation. What I'm going to cover today are some things that are, I don't know, they might be difficult for somebody else who's going through this kind of stuff. There's going to be, I'm sure everybody has different varying ranges of either depression or anxiety or stress or highs and lows, whatever. So the first point that came to my mind after last week's video was the healing process, my torso specifically and my thighs. I'm going to kind of lean this way, and what I'll do is I'm not going to show you the current chest. I'm not going to lift it up because I got the microphone on this week. We're trying a little bit of different audio, but I'll put it here. You can see I've been taking this picture every morning for journaling purposes. So you can see the first picture here is going to be when the day I was discharged, and the next picture is going to be of this morning after doing hygiene and stuff. So you can see how the stitches are healing very well. I had my VA follow-up on this past Tuesday, the 25th, and I had the surgery at Jewish Hospital, the doctor. I had the follow-up with them on the 27th, on Thursday. Both doctors, excuse me, both teams felt and were very happy and pleased with the healing progress that my skin is doing. There's no infections, there's no discoloration of any kind, so that's a good thing. The challenge for me, and I'll show you also the pictures here of the day of and this morning of the thighs, both my right and my left thigh. It's where they did the incision and they took the grafts for the arteries for my heart. As you can see, those are healing up very nicely as well, with one caveat that there is, when they did those incisions, it cut into nerve endings, right? So I have questionable touch sensation in those areas in my thigh areas and in some spots here on my chest. The challenge of the healing is in the sternum, the breastbone, where they had to stitch it all back up. It's a titanium wire that sewed it back together, and that's the one that is going to take weeks into months to heal and feel anywhere close to normal again. With this healing, and more with the sternum and the lungs and the heart and everything, comes the next topic of the breathing exercises. I showed you all a brief video, I think last week, of the devices I have to use. I will show them here again. One is for inhaling and one is for exhaling. The exhaling is the one that I said it sounded like a duck call, but everybody else, and I agree with it, and after further thought, everybody else thinks it sounds like the old fart machines, the old, whoopee cushion you put under somebody's chair, make them sound like they're farting. But that's right here.
Sometimes I think some companies don't.
So the next part is that I'm covering is the topic to me is depression. Okay, and I listed a few things under that. For me, the parts that made me think of depression are low points of pain, my sleep, the discomfort I feel and when you're being immobile. And so what I mean by depression, I haven't really felt any depression, but I have had some minor lows, like when you start getting, when your pain is built up, if you don't stay ahead of your meds, if your sleep isn't going well, if you're feeling any kind of discomfort between medications or between the pain meds, whether you're sitting on a couch or sitting in a car or whatever, sometimes that pain in those moments, you can think just rough things. Some people might feel low as far as worthlessness. Some people might feel how their lack of contributing to their families, their lives, their well-being, whatever. It's there, y'all. It'd be naive and be foolish to think it's not there for some people. I'm not feeling that way, but I have felt challenges to myself on not being independent, having to rely on people, having to rely on my wife or family members or just friends in general, doing things that we take it so for granted that we do these things every day, these little micro things, whatever it is. And for me, the biggest challenge lately has been sleep. I had a couple of days earlier this week where I slept straight through the night real well, I thought, and felt good. And then the past couple of nights, Thursday night and Friday night, and today's Saturday, I lay in bed and I'm laying there and I just stare at the ceiling. I try to do breathing. I try to just relax and can't get to sleep. And it doesn't happen till around 2 or 3 in the morning. It's a challenge. And I'm sure everybody, if anybody goes through this kind of stuff, you're going to have varying levels of these types of challenges. And all I can do is just know it's going to pass. Know it's going to get better. And it's hard. Because I do, there's not a lot of pain, but there is some discomfort when I lay there. Your body is healing. It's a slow process. Especially as you get older, your body heals slower. But the sleep thing has been the biggest challenge for me. Aside from, I'm going to put this part in here, from driving. That is the other part for me that's been the biggest challenge, is having to rely on somebody to drive me everywhere for anything. And then the second part of that is I can't sit in the front seat. Here's why. So I was restricted from driving or riding in the front passenger seat for 5 weeks from the date of my surgery. So that puts me for a whole nother week through the 9th of March. 9th of March before I can drive again. The reason of this is twofold. One, trying to steer, even with power steering, I can feel the strain on my sternum here. Even with they told me that it's a titanium wire that was used to stitch my sternum back together right here. So I can feel the strain from moving arms and steering, right? So if you can imagine how much this is just in the driveway, kind of lollygagging and rocking it back and forth like the boat. So if you can imagine having to turn suddenly to avoid an accident or for whatever reason, I'm going to feel every bit of that, right? So that's precaution is definitely a good thing. It's also a humbling, and in some cases it can be kind of humiliating. Folks, you've been driving for decades, and I have to rely upon somebody to drive me around. One, it's hard enough. Two, I can't sit in the front seat. I can't even sit over here. It's unsafe for me to sit over there as a driver or even sit here as a passenger, because the challenge is not just, as I said, with the driving with the steering wheel, it's the airbag. If the airbag deploys in the front seat on this side or that side, it could cause damage to my sternum healing. So I'm kind of for the next week now. I've got a week left, week and a half, whatever. We're playing it by ear, but at least a week to go. So if anything else, I'm regulated to sit back here. We haven't driven my truck. We've driven the minivan. But folks, I can't tell you how depressing this is. I get it in the grand scheme of things. There are worse things in life, but it's a mental thing. When you are a person who is independent, you're doing things on your own, you are whatever, driving. You can't even drive. You can't even sit in the passenger seat there and talk to the driver. You got to be back here where there's no airbag to deploy and cause damage. So it's not an easy thing. It's really not. I hate to make it sound so big, because in some cases, to some people, it might even be worse for them mentally than it is for me. So the next part of this is diet. This is a good thing, because it takes some serious adjustments, and you have to willpower, and you have to decide and make a decision that you're going to do better in your diet. So whether that's plant-based, whether it's chicken, turkey, whatever, staying away from, or almost completely removing red meat out of your diet, getting down to daily recommendations on your sodium intake, your sugar intakes. All these things have to be factored in. So we've been doing a lot more fruit. I've been doing a lot more green vegetables. A hell of a lot less snacking. I mean, y'all just don't know it. I mean, I'm sure some of you do, but it's a daily thing. I mean, having to really pay attention to those labels and looking at stuff when it says sodium content and fat content and sugar content. Y'all, if you want to take care of your bodies, you got to eat right. My experience is any professional nutrition and health fitness experts that I've heard, watched on YouTube, whatever, even in the military, when they gave you dietitian and dietary advice, when you try to get onto a workout regime, they'll tell you that's like the 70 or 80 percentile of you getting into a healthy fitness plan is your diet, what you put into your body, regardless of whether you work out or how much you lift or train for weightlifting and weight muscle building or toning up or a marathon, whatever it is. 80 to 90% of that is based upon your diet, what you're eating. So it's huge. So take it from me, unless you want to get right back on the operating table, you got to change your diet. We've been finding like Mediterranean type of crackers and things that are lower on sodium, and they're better for with dips and things. And like I said, a ton of fruit, vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, split peas, carrots, all sorts of stuff like that. And you would not believe how much we rely on sodium, salt, just to put flavor into things, versus when you don't have it at all, or you have so much less in there, how much it changes the flavor of something. I mean, you think about marinating a salmon, right, or a steak or whatever. If you put a marinade on it, how much sodium is in that marinade that goes into, you're just trying to add flavor to it, right? The next piece would be physical fitness and therapy. So meaning physical fitness and physical therapy. So I've been doing, Kylie and I started doing a couple of days where we did some walks around our block. And actually the doctors have been telling us to not do that, or not do it as much. Like, don't take 2 laps like we've been doing, even though I don't feel the pain that I did before, which is good. But I have to approach this like my heart is brand new. Like everything is brand new and it has to relearn physical exertion. So they have me doing repetitions of things like squats, and I'm doing like 10 squats, right? Taking 10 squats throughout the day. I'll do 10 here, 10 there, whatever. Instead of doing blocks or laps around the block, I kid you, no kidding, I'm doing like laps around my kitchen, like 10 laps around my kitchen. So yeah, it's kind of silly to me, and it's like, really 10 laps around my kitchen? But you would not believe how my heart is talking to me, and it's saying, yeah, this is good enough for now. I mean, we go on a walk out there around the block, and I'm working to keep my heart rate under 120 beats a minute, right? Well, doing that, walks around my kitchen, even at a regular pace, the heart is still getting 90 to 100 beats a minute. It's a patient process. The physical therapy is also where, like I said, I'm doing squats, doing a certain type of leg raise, nothing with my arms right now because there's a risk of danger to the sternum, to the healing process there. So everybody, and the physical shape that you're in before surgery is also going to play a factor in how quickly you recover and what physical therapy, the ease of physical therapy, or what you do physical therapy wise after surgery. The next piece is the cleansing routine. So I'll show you a video here, or some pictures here my daughter took as well. So I'm not going to show you my morning routine. I'll just tell you that I have to use like an antibacterial and antimicrobial soap. It's an orange soap that I use, and I wash the incision and the healing, the cuts and everything. I have to wash those directly with it. No soaps with any kind of dyes, no dials, the pump shampoo, all 3-in-1s, none of that can be used. It has to be just a straight soap, right? So that's what I use in the mornings every time I do hygiene. And what I wash those incisions, those healing incisions, directly with my hand, and then I use a washcloth for the rest of my body. And I actually have to be very precise with the cleaning process to make sure I'm not running the washcloth over any of the incisions, because there's a risk that it could snag on a scab of any kind and pull something. There's still like internal sutures inside the incisions of my thighs. The washcloth could snag something on there, so I have to use my hands just to wash those areas. And some of you might think this is too much information or TMI. That's why I said for some, this is just to help others who might be going through this, because I know it's not going to be the same for everybody. But then there's the evening routine where, like I said, my daughter took some pictures of where Kylie puts some disinfectant, or we kind of got it from the hospital. And she sprays it or pours it onto my incisions, and then what she has to use is a gauze to pat on the incisions to agitate it so that it suds up, and then she uses a second gauze to pat it down and dry each of the areas. So it's a process, y'all. It's a dedicated process. It's a system. And we've developed and learned this, and we, do it every time. And then the last piece is the medications. I'm on a ton of medications right now, and I'm supposed to take them twice a day, once in the morning and then once in the evening. And so I work that routine in as well. The last piece I want to point out again is also more saying thank you. I think I gave a shout out to Des last week on the last video for buying Walmart deliveries for oranges and for fruit and tons for days that blessed us incredibly. Thank you to family and friends for sending cards. Picture that right here. I am, again, overwhelmingly blessed, y'all. You are incredible people, and I thank you. In those low moments for me, that's kind of what gets me through those things, knowing that you all I know I'm being prayed over. I get constantly, every day, I'm getting a text from somebody just checking in to say that they're in their thoughts and their prayers, and whether it's just a text, message on Facebook, through social media, whatever it is, thank you. And this might sound shallow, and I do apologize for it, but again, I've been sharing the videos on social media, through Facebook, through the family chats that I have or whatever, and also on YouTube. And I've made a point to like and to love or to heart every person's comment. And I'm not commenting on the comments. Forgive me. I don't want to sound insensitive on it, but there are so many. There's a lot, not just on YouTube, but everywhere else as well. The heart and the like is to let you all, please know that is a way of me just saying thank you across the board to everybody. It's what I can do right now. Thank you. I've had a bunch of people address and wonder and be surprised that I am doing things, emailing, whatever case, making phone calls and things, and I try, but just thank you. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse on it, but in my heart, I don't feel like that recognition or that expression of thanks and gratitude and love can ever be enough equal to what I'm receiving right now. So, thank you. Again, I've said before, if you have any questions about what's going on with me, the process, feel free to put them in the comments or hit me up in any comment where I share this, okay? If you have any questions. If you want to know something else that maybe I'm going through or whatever. Some people have even, thank you, some people have even shared their own experiences or friends' experiences or family members' experiences who also went through quadruple bypass or any other type of surgery like that. And it's helpful. It really is. Lastly, as I close this, I want to express my deep condolences and my prayers to those who know him. He's a motovlogger, and his channel name was Being Here Now with Percy. His first name's David. He used to be one of the 5 Dirty Bikers. He recently passed away this past Wednesday due to complications with what he was going through, complications with cancer. So my sympathies, my prayers, and I know everybody who knows him, I've seen it on social media and Instagram, Facebook a lot. Our prayers are with his family for strength during this loss, during this time. Loss is never easy, but his fight is over, and knowing that hopefully he's enjoying a good ride in the sky with awesome wings and a new body. So with that, folks, thank you again. My prayers are with the David's family and friends. God bless you all. Thank you so much for your continued support and your prayers for me and my family. Thank you. Until the next time, y'all take care. God bless you.